Hello, Frugal Force. Once again, this is Captain Frugal reporting for duty. It's a cold morning this morning. Let's see, my temperature here is reading out on my dash. The thermometer here is saying it's 13 degrees Fahrenheit. So yeah, wonderfully warm. And yes, I know I've had colder over here by far. At least it's not in the negatives, but man, I tell you. So anyway, this is the day after the Super Bowl. But yet this is not going to have anything about Super Bowl. You know, there's been a, on the social media, there's just been a massive amount of arguing, unhappiness. If you look on Twitter, for example, there is constant, issues. People are upset because of SJWs chasing people off of Twitter. Things like that, so I'm just going to touch that briefly and then get to the subject I want to talk about. First of all, unless you're under a rock, Ethan Van Sciver left Twitter, but we don't know that it's permanent. I'm pretty sure it's not. Ethan's a smart guy. He'll be back on when he feels the time is right. We got these Tim Doyle and these other idiots, all these knuckleheads. They think they've won some big war, that they're silencing people. And I want to make sure you get that point across. They're proud of themselves for silencing people. So when they call people Hitler, who's the real Hitler here? Who's the real one that wants people silenced and oppressed? Think about that. So anyway, now off that little bit off my chest, the Super Bowl is over last night. School's closed for my kids, so I don't feel like a bad parent for letting them stay up and watch the Super Bowl. So my topic of discussion, I was thinking about kids and parenting. And so while thinking about kids and parenting, it made me think of Super Sons. Yes, it took me 2 minutes to get to my point. It made me think of Super Sons. It's probably one of my favorite comic books. Well, not probably, it is. It's one of my favorite comic books on the shelves right now. And if you're not reading it, I really think you're missing something. First of all, the action scenes and all that, like a traditional comic, and they're okay. But and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with them, by the way. Don't get me wrong. But what really sells this book is the human interaction, or human-alien interaction, I guess you could say. It's the subtle stuff, the stuff below the fight, the stuff before, the stuff after the fights, and things like that, that really hit home. Maybe it's the father, son thing, because I have kids myself. But that's really the sub point of the book. First of all, you got Damian and Jonathan Kent. Their relationship from issue 1 constantly grows. You see from the beginning where they can't really stand each other, growing to the point where they really become good friends, close friends. And so it's a lot like the Batman-Superman relationship, where they were very leery of each other, but as over time they grew together. And they foreshadow that, their relationship with Batman and Superman as well. So that's a great way of doing it in that book. So you're seeing that, for example, like Damian will not admit to being Jonathan Kent's friend. Oh, I do have to be careful, by the way. The roads are pretty crappy right now in some areas. This area is a little icy. So anyway, what was I saying? Damian won't admit to being Jonathan's friend through much. They're partners or teammates or whatever to that degree. But eventually you could see he really grows on him. For example, one of the things is, Jonathan wanted on to the Teen Titans, and you could tell Damian was against it. Completely against it, didn't want to have anything to do with it. But as the issues go on, it changes. He becomes a supporter of Jonathan to be on the team. As a matter of fact, you could tell when he tries to get to a chance to get him devoted to be on the team, even though he was after it. And I'm not going to say how that goes. I don't want to spoil the story too much, but how he reacts to the situation is very genuine and a really good read. Another part, too, is the interaction between Superboy and his father, Superman. Just the little things that are said, even when they tie into things about Batman and Damian as well. Just some great father-son connections, like about staying out too late. And Superman says, well, Batman's been hit in the head a lot, so maybe that's why he lets Damian get away with so much. Things, paraphrasing there. But there's just nuggets like that almost in every book, in every issue. This is good writing, and maybe you won't notice it as much if you're not a parent. Maybe it won't impact you as much. But I think if you're a parent and you have and you've had those moments with your kids, you read that and it's like, wow, it really hits home. There's some very interesting elements there, and that's what sells the book. It's a interesting, very interesting book from the things that aren't as much the fighting, but the relationship and development. I think that's one of the things that makes a good book. It makes you care about the characters. And this is true, I was not a fan of Damian. I don't like him. He's just a little snot. This book made me like Damian. I mean, I still think he's a little snot, but I like the little snot now, because you're seeing parts of him that you didn't see even though he was arguing with Tim Drake and stuff like that. Now, granted, you got a little bit once in a while in the Batman books with him showing a little empathy in areas there, but nothing like you do in here. So check that out. Matter of fact, you see a little bit of that now in the Teen Titans book as well. So that might be one to check out if you really like Damian's character. You're starting to see some human interaction development there. I mean, you can sort of understand why he didn't have it before, because League of Assassins is probably not the best way to training with the League of Assassins is not the way to get your social skills. What can you say? So ultimately, my point is this: if you're not reading Super Sons, I strongly suggest at least give it a chance. Give it a couple issues, see what you think. I really think if you're not getting it, you're going to be surprised, and you're going to want to get more. Maybe check out hoopladigital.com. I believe they have it for free, the first volume of it on trade, so you can even check it out for free legally. Okay, once again, hoopladigital.com. I'm not a shill for them. I'm not selling for them. Okay, it's a company that works through your library. So if you have a library card, you can go to hoopladigital.com. It's going to ask you to put your library card in there, your information for your library card. And if your library supports it, which many of them do, you're going to have access to lots of library material digitally for free legally. And DC has a massive amount of stuff on there. Marvel's starting to put some stuff on there, but DC's got a massive amount of stuff on there, and you can check it out for yourselves. And I think you should, because that's probably going to make you want to run to the comic shop and buy it. Yes, I know I'm frugal and things, but I also believe in supporting our local comic shop. So if you do enjoy it, you like it, I recommend going out and buying it. I don't think you're going to be disappointed. So if you do, let me know in the comments what you thought. Okay? I would love to hear it. Do you already read Super Sons? Are you going to give it a shot? What's your favorite part that you've read so far in Super Sons? There's some questions for you to keep you thinking. Alright, if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit like and subscribe. And if you don't mind, hit that notification bell, because YouTube is still not the best about notifying. So also, if you follow me on Twitter, sometimes what I do every time I release a video is I throw a couple at people so you get a direct message from Twitter, because I know that YouTube does not always give those notifications. As well as if you like this video, this road rage one, that's why you can hear the cars and things like that. If you enjoy this video, please consider going down to the link below and clicking on that Patreon link, and you'll see that you can become a patron for just as little as $1 a month, or I have a $2 a month tier. And I don't have anything up yet because it's new. My Patreon is new, but there's also going to be exclusive only content for videos right now on my Patreon. That's just a low tier thing I'm working on at the moment on something bigger. I'm going to see how it goes. Alright guys, I really appreciate it. They took this time to listen. Until next time, keep it frugal.